Last one, okay.
Today's meeting will come to order. The first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Lieutenant Randall. If you'd all rise, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. The following matters will come before the Revere License Commission today at our regularly scheduled meeting. The first order of business will be the meeting previously filed with the city clerk, the approval of minutes of August 21st, 2019. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
The motion to approve the minutes of the August 21st, 2019 meeting is approved. The following are applications submitted for consideration. Item number 1, the Beachmont Improvement Committee, State Street at Kimberly Park to Donnelly Square. Kathleen Heiser is the event manager. This is an application for a one-day common victular and entertainment license. The application of the Beachmont Improvement Committee will, for that one-day common victular and entertainment license will be exercised on Saturday, September 28th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. for a Beachmont Multicultural Festival to take place on State Street between Kimberly Park and Donnelly Square. The event will include food, art, music, games, and a short sidewalk parade. Is there anybody here from the Beachmont Improvement Committee? Can you step up to the podium, please, and explain it to us a little bit about what your event is?
Thank
Your name and
you.
address for the record, please.
Kathleen Heiser, 51 Endicott Avenue.
Mary Turner, 112 Broad Street Ave.
Thank you very much. Can you tell us a little bit about what this cultural event is?
So this is the third annual cultural event that we're having, a multicultural event. And what we're planning on doing is gathering at Kimberly Square, where we're going to set up the table sort of like a bistro design, and that will surround the area where the performers will be. So this festival is really meant to weave our community together with a variety of cultures. So we've invited dancers and musicians from different ethnic backgrounds, and it'll be food, music, art, and the little parade that we have had the last several years. The hours that you're stated on when you read it, you said 11 to 6, I think. We are only going to actually have the festival between 1 and 5, but I put that down because we will need some help with the road closures to set up and clean up.
Very good.
Okay? And,
Thank you very much. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
No, I've been to the event, and it's a great thing for the city. I think we should do it in every ward, have something like that, and just get to know our neighbors and learn a little bit about everyone.
Yeah, that's
And
what it's about.
obviously, it's always a great fun time with you girls there. So no, I have no questions.
Thank you.
How many people do you expect at the event, typically?
it's very hard to tell because it depends on the weather and who's got baseball games, who's doing what. We moved it till later so that we could attract more people than we have in the
Yeah.
past. But you have to know that it's not a stagnant number, so the people come
and
and
go.
they do what they're going to do, and then they go. We opted not to have food trucks this year because we wanted to not have the emissions, or it just didn't feel,
noise.
yeah, it didn't feel community enough. So we're doing a few things like that differently, and yeah.
So that was my second question. So no food trucks, you're just going to have food tables?
No.
Yeah, food tables.
Prepared
And,
food that,
Yeah.
there's no cooking going on.
well, there may be, because I think, is
oh.
that okay, Maggie? Did
With
you
the-
do that with the Tommy Feely and his sausages? I mentioned it, she said that it wouldn't be a problem, so that's, we had
grill.
hoped to have the grill with Tommy Feely and his sausages. And that would be the only cooking that would be there. Other than that, it'll be the Colombian restaurants doing some stuff. They run back and forth with their stuff. We're hoping that
Luigi's Pizza,
Luigi's Pizza, the same thing.
Philly Pretzel.
Will you be bringing a grill? Is that what I'm understanding, that you'll be
Yeah,
bringing a grill?
Tommy Feely has done that in many events.
Okay, that'll have to be inspected prior
Yes,
to the event?
we know that.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So as long as, that's inspected, and you have the
Okay.
proper sign off from that, you shouldn't have any problem.
Okay.
Right.
So the only thing that I have added to it, and that really not in addition to this, but that we have now a rain date venue, and we're going to move it maybe into the Beachmont School if we have to. We're hoping we don't have to, but if it does rain, we've already spoken to the superintendent, and she's trying to make sure that we could do that.
All right, very good. Do we have any other questions?
If there's no other questions, I'll make a motion to approve, especially when you said that Tom Feely was doing cooking, and who was a dear friend of Jim Kimberly's.
Yeah, I know.
I think
Best
that's,
buds.
Yeah.
that really is a great thing for him.
Yeah.
But as long as it's inspected, I'm going to make a motion to approve.
Yeah, I'll second the motion.
The application is approved. The application for a one-day common victualer's license is approved for the Beachmont Improvement Committee. The one-day license will be exercised on Saturday, September 28th, 2019, and the license is good from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Thank you very much.
And it's for a Beachmont Multicultural Festival. It'll take place on State Street between Kimberly Park and Donnelly Square. Their event is going to have food, art, music, games, and a short sidewalk parade.
Thank you.
Thank you
And
very
just,
much. Have a great event.
Thank you.
Excuse me, one more thing, Commissioner, just that they have made us aware that in case of rain, they are going to move to the
Yes.
Beachmont School, is that what you said?
Beachmont, correct.
Okay, just so that we'll make a note of that.
Okay. Thanks
Thank
so
you very much for your time.
Come and visit us.
Yes, I hope you come. We'll save.
Thank you very much. Item number 2, St. Mary's Holy Name Society, 670 Washington Avenue. Stephen Fielding is the event manager. This is an application for a special malt wine, common victular, and entertainment license to be exercised at 670 Washington Avenue on Saturday, September 21st, 2019, from 5 p.m. until 10 p.m. The event will be a Feast of St. Lucie dinner dance with DJ, music, and dinner. Is there someone from the Holy Name Society? Yes, sir, your name and...
Good afternoon. Yeah, my name is Stephen Fielding. I'm representing St. Mary's Holy Name Society, 670 Washington Ave in Revere, St. Mary's Church. The event is our 25th annual St. Lucie's Feast Dinner Dance, and we expect to have between 85 and 100 attendees. We start off right after Mass with a procession of the statue of St. Lucie down into the lower church where this event will be held. And we have a catered event by Domino's, a sit-down dinner. We'll have dinner, then dancing and music, and we will have a small bar set up as we always have with just wine and beer, soda and water.
Is this event any different from the previous 24?
No, it isn't.
Very good. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
No, I have no other questions. Another great
you.
event we have in the city that always goes well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have no questions.
Very good. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the application for a special malt wine victual license and entertainment license for the St. Mary's Holy Name Society.
I'll second the motion.
The motion is approved. The application for a special malt wine, common victular, and entertainment license for St. Mary's Holy Name Society is approved for a special one-day license to be exercised at 670 Washington Avenue on Saturday, September 21st, 2019, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. The event will be a Feast of St. Lucie dinner dance with DJ, music, and dinner. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
The third item on the agenda is item number 3. Save the Harbor, Save the Bay Plaza at Wonderland Station. Chris Mancini is the event manager. Is he present? We will table this. Item number 4. The neighborhood developers, municipal parking lot on Shirley Ave. Kayla Alterman, event manager. This is an application for a common victular and entertainment license. The application of the neighborhood developers for a one-day common victular entertainment license to be exercised on Saturday, October 5th, 2019, with a rain date of Saturday, October 12th. The event time will be from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. The event is a Shirley Ave block party to be held at the municipal parking lot on Shirley Ave. The event is to include food, music, dancing, and family activities. Your name and address for the record, please.
Is that on? Ah, great. Kyla Alterman.
And can you tell us a little bit about this event, please?
Sure thing. Well, Kathleen did a lot of the hard work for me. It's a very similar event as the one happening in Beachmont. So we're having a stage that DPW is setting up for some musical acts and a dance. Otherwise, besides those musical acts, there'll just be some DJ music. There'll be food, all provided from businesses in the area, so nothing is being cooked on site. Everything is being brought from one of those businesses or is already prepackaged bottled drinks or packaged food. And there will be about between 15 and 20 different nonprofits and other organizations tabling there, and there'll be a bounce house that Parks and Rec is providing, and they're also staffing, and there'll be some community games and lots to do there. Face painting, henna. We have someone also doing caricature drawings, and everything is free and open to all.
Thank you very much. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
No, I don't have any other questions. I see you do have this every year. Get quite a crowd there. Seems like an enjoyable time for everyone that does come. So I've encouraged people in the city to drop down Shirley Ave and see what's going on down there. It's a great event.
Thank you. And one thing, I noticed Kathleen did give a few hours before and after. So the event I put on there is 1 to 4 p.m., but we will be starting setup with DPW at 11, if we wanted to amend that. So, and then cleanup will hopefully be done around 5 or 5:30.
Is the food, are they food carts, food trucks, or?
No, everything is just being brought directly from the restaurant over.
Got you. Okay. It looks like is this the first time you've done it here?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, it's the 7th annual, but it is my first time.
Good. Well, good luck. Seems like
Thank
a
you
nice
very
little
much.
event.
I have a lot to live up to, so.
Thank you very much. I will close that section of the hearing. Any proponents? Anybody like to speak on behalf of this?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Ira Novoselsky, 53 D Hone Street, Ward 2 Councilor. This is our third event for the TND, but we've had several others for the Moroccan Cultural Festival at the same location. They've always been great times. All the people love getting together, and they just want to do the right thing and just get the communities together, and I'm in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilor. Any other proponents out there? Seeing and hearing none, I'll close that section. Any opponents? Is there anybody opposed to this? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that section. Can we have, is there a motion to work on?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I was going to second the motion, but Ira came up there, so just joking. I'm going to second the motion. I'm seconding the motion.
Thank you. The motion is approved for the neighborhood developers to have a one-day common victular and entertainment license to be exercised on Saturday, October 5th, 2019, with a rain date of Saturday, October 12th. The time of the event is 1 to 4 p.m. for a Shirley Ave block party to be held at the municipal parking lot on Shirley Ave. The event will include food, music, dancing, and family activities. Thank you very much. Good luck with your event. Item number 5, Boston Harley Owners Group, Chapter 3905, 649-1 Squire Road. Stephen Cooper is the event manager. This is an application for a one-day common victular and entertainment license. The application of the Boston Harley Owners Group, Chapter 3905, for a common victular and entertainment license to be exercised on Sunday, October 13, 2019, with a rain date of Sunday, October 20th, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., for the staging of a fundraising ride. Said license to be exercised in the parking lot of 649-1 Squire Road. The event is to include food carts, coffee brewers, a DJ, and other family-friendly entertainment. Your name and address for the record, please, sir.
My name's Stephen Cooper. I'm from Winthrop. I'm the Assistant Director of the Boston Harley Owners Group and on the Witch Ride Committee for about 9 years now. This is the 31st annual Halloween Witch Ride to benefit MDA. In Revere, we'll be staging the motorcycles. We'll have a DJ. We'll have a coffee vendor who will be accepting donations. They won't be charging for the coffee. And we'll have the food provided by Dean's Concessions, who's been in the city before. He'll have some carts and other equipment to provide sausages, hot dogs, hamburgers, fried dough. We'll also have other family-friendly things, face painters, other product vendors.
Very good, sir. Thank you. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
Well, I see you have down here food carts.
Yes, from Dean's Concessions.
Okay, have we got this approved by the fire department? Have they inspected?
I know that Dean's Concessions provided a lot of paperwork. I'm not sure what was included.
Well,
Specifically, I've already suggested that I would meet whatever inspectors need to talk to. I can meet them at the dealership.
Well, I think the question did come up at our last meeting about food trucks, that they should be inspected by the fire department, if I remember correctly.
I believe there was an inspection provided. I'm not sure from where.
Well, did it go through, are you talking about Dean Flynn?
It's Mark Matarazzo from Dean's Concessions. He provided
From Dean's
an inspection.
And did he get all the permits?
I believe so. He submitted a number of documents, including a prior inspection from another, I think from the city of Boston.
Does anyone see anything from the fire department? I see the catering, I don't, oh, here's a health permit. I don't see anything from the fire department,
What's
do
your
you?
concern?
Well, I mean, I think last time we had people up here for food truck, and Deputy Cheevers was here and said that we shouldn't really give out licenses for these food trucks unless he has inspected them, and I guess we really don't have all of the qualifications for a food truck in place at this time. So I think that was at our last meeting, we had a little...
There's a Boston Inspectional Services certificate here.
Right, that's from Boston.
I don't understand, but that qualifying.
Well, I think that's why we had to deny the last one. I just want to be fair across the board.
Well,
That
the last
the
one
fire
was-
department,
Was basically just a food truck that wanted to operate, as
Right.
opposed to an event that was going to have food trucks present, which I
Well-
think is somewhat different.
I agree with you on that, but I think we also went to the farmer's market at that time and said he didn't feel that also had all the permits. So we did go in different areas of these food trucks, and I believe there was one down at Northgate that was closed. So I'm a little, but we don't have it. No, we don't have anything from them at this point. So I guess you submitted the papers, or Dean's submitted the papers, but we don't have anything on that. It was sent to them. So at this point, after our last meeting, we had some people that couldn't understand why we couldn't approve them. I just think that it's up to my colleagues. I have no problem approving it contingent on a sign off from the fire department.
So how long, Maggie?
Well, the papers have already been.
Yeah, how long ago were they sent to the fire department? Yeah, so they might be sitting on them, so no fault of their, so, yeah,
I don't want to end up in that
of course.
turmoil that happened last month. We're trying to do the right thing by everyone and be fair.
I understand.
So,
I want it to be a safe event
Right.
as well.
Right. How many food trucks are you having there?
They won't be food trucks. These are trailered carts that Dean's will be providing, they will be staffing, and they will be supporting however they do it. There'll be probably 3 or 4 separate, I call them vehicles, but they're not self-propelled, they're not food trucks. One
So
will
what
be,
will they be cooking? What kind of food?
I know one will have fried dough, because we all like fried dough. There'll be a flat top that will cook sausages, hamburgers. I'm trying to remember what he had in the past.
Okay.
But
So my question, why I was asking that question, I just wanted to make sure that it should go through the fire department if you are.
Oh, I understand.
Fine.
I've
So,
spoken to Maggie on a few occasions, and whatever we need to do, we'll do.
Right.
We have a great working relationship with the police department. We'll have details there. If we're required to do something else, our issue obviously is that we're 3.5 weeks out. So whatever we need to do, we need to satisfy your requirements.
Right. Well, that's my concern, is just the fire department signing off on it, and you are going to be using
And we did,
other oils.
I believe we inquired about 2 weeks ago. But I haven't heard back for what we need to do. Right now, Dean's Concessions is preparing for Topsfield Fair. They do that, and I think they do the Keene Swap Meet. So there are a lot of places. I don't know how we would get the fire department to do the inspection of the equipment.
Well, I think we've sent the papers over, and they should be contacting you to give the permit.
So you can approve it pending.
Well, I mean, I want to hear from my colleagues, but I have no problem approving it contingent on receiving that letter from the fire department.
Do you have any other questions, Commissioner?
No, I agree with Commissioner, with Linda, and, yeah, so, I mean, the next meeting is October 13th, so obviously you wouldn't be in time. I mean, the event is October 13th, so it wouldn't be come in front of us for the next meeting.
Correct.
So I guess contingent upon the fire department's, response to your request, I guess. So I'm okay with it contingent upon
Very good.
their approval of the, the food trucks, food carts.
Well,
Excuse me, I apologize. I just want to ask you one more question. When you say Dean's is running it, is anyone else bringing in trucks
No.
except him? There isn't.
No.
Okay, so these names that I'm looking at are his employees?
The only food vendors on there are Dean's Concessions. That's Mark Matarazzo is the owner. I put the principal on there. And then One More Cup of Coffee is Cheryl. There's only 2 food vendors.
just a coffee person.
Correct.
Right.
And she's just preparing coffee and not selling it. She'll be taking donations to muscular dystrophy.
Okay.
And then we have the DJ on the other form.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll close this section of the hearing. Is there any proponents out there? Excuse me, anybody want to speak on behalf of this? Your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Ariel Andrews, 30 Sudbury Street, Portsmouth. I'm the Director of Marketing for Boston Harley-Davidson and the Harley-Davidson group that they belong to. And I just have to say that over the last, 10 years that our company's been involved with this HOG chapter, they do everything utmost respectful of the environment they're in. They make sure they abide by the rules, and they do everything they can to ensure the safety and welfare of the riders and everybody involved. So I fully support this ride, this event, and so does our company and the owners of the company as well.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We have a disc jockey going there too. We have a time frame on the.
Are there any other proponents? Seeing and hearing none, I'll close that section. Excuse me. Are there any opponents? Is there anybody opposed to this? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that section.
Okay, I have just one more question. I see you have a DJ. What time will you be playing the music till?
We'll be setting up at 8 a.m. and our kickstands up is at 11:15, so it'll be finished by 11:30. The morning event, very impressive.
Okay, it starts at 8. Starts at 8 o'clock?
He'll be setting up, he probably won't start playing anything until 8:30 the way things go. Registration begins at 9, but lights will be there early.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I think it's a great event. It raises a lot of money for muscular dystrophy. I don't have a problem with the sign-offs as long as you get the sign-offs. I think we're all in agreement there. Is there a motion to approve this?
Yes, I will make a motion with contingent upon the fire inspector's sign-offs on the food carts, which I can't imagine to be an issue since you've been doing it for many years. So I made a motion to approve.
Made a motion to
With the
approve. Okay,
contingent,
I'll
okay.
second the motion.
The motion is approved. The application for a one-day common victular and entertainment license given to Boston Harley Owners Group, Chapter 3905, for a one-day common victular and entertainment license to be exercised on Sunday, October 13, 2019. The rain date will be Sunday, October 20th. The time of the event is 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. for staging for a fundraising ride. The license is to be exercised in the parking lot at 649-1 Squire Road. The event is to include food carts, coffee brewers, a DJ, and other family-friendly entertainment. Thank you very much. Good luck with your event. Item number 6, Argueta and Pinochet Corporation, DBA Nino's Restaurant and Bar, 7B Everett Street. Julia Duarte Alarcon is the manager. This is an application to amend an entertainment license. The application of Argueta and Pinochet Corp., DBA Nino's Restaurant and Bar, to amend an entertainment license at the same address. The requested entertainment to be cable, TV, radio, DJ, amplifiers, karaoke, vocal and instrumental music, and dancing by patrons. The current entertainment license is for cable TV and radio. Your name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Arcania Valera, 90 Light Street, Lynn, Mass., and I'm here to translate for Julia Duarte Alarcon, who's the manager, and Sergio Piche.
Very good, man. Can you tell us what do you plan to do this venue?
Just offering a little bit more entertainment. The license is already approved till 2 a.m. in the morning, so we just want to offer more entertainment to the tourists that stay in the hotel right next door, and also at 4 Points and other hotels in the area on 107 McKellen Highway that they can come and have entertainment and safe in a safe environment. And I would say right now we haven't had any incidents so far with the license being open till 2 a.m. We just want to, with the contingency, get the approval with the contingency that the kill switch button will be installed once the approval is done with that contingency. That's the only thing we're asking for.
Thank you very much. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
What time would you have the music till, should you get this license for the DJ?
What time would the music end? Let me ask Sergio Piche that.
I mean, this is a restaurant, you're having dinner.
¿A qué hora tiras la música? ¿Vas a apagar la música? 12:30, so last call will be 12:30, and music will be 12:30 as well.
12:30?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner LaCroix, do you have any questions?
So I haven't been in there, so I don't know what the layout is. Maybe it's in this package here, but, so is there like a, when you talk entertainment, this looks like you're gonna have vocals and instruments. Is it gonna be like a dance club, or just say singing to more of the patrons sitting at a bar or at?
Exactly. It's a full-far restaurant right now with space, so he's going to have a stage where the person's going to play, or it's going to be karaoke, and it's just going to be the patrons doing karaoke, or somebody offering entertainment, playing entertainment, or a DJ just playing music, and perhaps if people want to stand up and dance, they can do that, but it's not like a nightclub. It's just still a restaurant environment where food is going to be served.
Sure. Okay. Typical type of music you expect to bring in there? Is it oldie? I mean, I'm not sure what the plan is. Is it going to be a rap stuff? I'd be concerned about the type. I mean,
¿Qué tipo de música vas a poner? Todo tipo de música. Yeah, so salsa, bachata, merengue, a little bit of pop, English pop. What you typically play these days in the environment where there's not only adults, but there's probably children as well, right? Having a really good time, so.
okay, thank you.
All right.
So, just so I'm clear, is it still going to be a restaurant?
Yes, it will be Nino's Bar Restaurant. Yeah.
Okay, and you're going to serve food up until you close, or are you going to close the kitchen at a certain point and become a nightclub?
No, we'll serve food. Yeah.
You're going to serve food
Yeah,
until
you're
you
going to
close?
serve. Yes.
I see that you've had some inspections done. As long as the front door was 72 inches wide, I think that was one of the requirements. And also that the deputy chief needed a floor layout and also needed a fire alarm power kill switch.
Yeah.
Has that been installed?
The floor layout is done. The kill switch is not installed. We want approval with a contingency that the kill switch is installed before we fully exercise the license. The reason being is because Mr. Piche and Ms. Julia here do not want to make the investment upfront. It's a $2,000 investment, and they want to make sure that they do invest their money wisely at this point.
Perfectly understandable. Okay, well, I don't have any other questions. I will close this section of the meeting. Are there any proponents out there? Is there anybody that would like to speak on behalf of this? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that section. Are there any opponents? Anybody opposed to this? I don't see or hear any. I would like to hear from the deputy chief, however, about this. Deputy
Afternoon.
Chief Cheever, thank you very much.
They came to see me. I got a floor plan where they're going to do the entertainment. We went over the requirements for where the power kills will be. We've talked a couple of times. Everything's progressing. The only thing that hasn't happened yet is the permit pulled to do it. And she did state that she wanted to make sure that there wasn't going to be license issues before they invested into that. So everything she said here is what our conversations have been.
Very good.
I can stand as a proponent. They have parking in there for at night and everything else. It's a nice little establishment. They take good care of it. So.
Okay, thank you very much, Deputy. Is there a motion to work on this? Anybody else have any other questions? I don't see or hear any. I'll put in a motion.
Actually, I have a quick question for Lieutenant Randall. Any concerns on your side of adding that entertainment to the establishment like this?
We haven't had any instances, any problems up there since they've had their 2 o'clock license, and as long as they obey the rules, we wouldn't have a problem.
Okay, thank you. All right, based on all the information so far, I'm going to make a motion to approve the additional entertainment license as specified on the agenda here.
Do you want to second it?
Put the music. All right. And the music, it will be till 12:30. Am I correct?
Yes, it will be till 12:30, and last call, he wants to make last call at 12:30 as well.
Okay. But just for clarification, it wouldn't be able to be turned into a nightclub. We call that a pouring bar. So you have a restaurant license, and that's, okay.
Yes, a restaurant license or a full bar liquor license, and it's just providing a little bit more atmosphere, I would say ambience for the patrons.
Okay. Well, I guess the motion on the floor, I'll second the motion.
Thank you.
Thank you. The application to amend the license is approved. The application of Argueta and Pinochet Corporation, DBA Nino's Restaurant and Bar, to amend an entertainment license exercised at the same address. The requested entertainment will be TV, radio, DJ, amplifiers, karaoke, voice and instrumental music, and dancing by patrons. Thank you very much. The music must cease by 12:30. Okay, thank you very much. That concludes the applications. The next item on the agenda are, hearings. The first hearing, item number 7, Four Partners, Inc., DBA Antonia's at the Beach, 492 Revere Beach Boulevard. Rodrigo Angulo is the manager. The hearing into neighborhood disturbances stemming from uncontrolled patrons in restaurant parking lot, resulting in multiple police calls and resident complaints. Your name and address for the record, please, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Rodrigo Angulo from 69 Court Road. I'm one of the owners, partners of Antonia's at the Beach. Is my manager Juan here with me?
Thank you very much, sir.
I would like to at this time just disclose that I do own condos in the building next door, which is 500 Revere Beach Boulevard. The building next to yours would be 501, I believe. So I don't think in any way that's going to alter my vote. So I'm not going to excuse myself. I had no complaints from my tenants, so I will not excuse myself.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, you're aware of the reason why we're here, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you want to tell me a little bit about what happened from your perspective?
Yes, sir. I wasn't there that night, but my manager, I saw it in the videos and the cameras, and I hear from people and from the police, and maybe the chief can comment on that later. It was no problems at all. It was no fights, no arguments, no loud music, nothing at all. It's just the parking situation with the motorcycles. I understand that my neighbor next door wasn't happy because there was so many motorcycles. But we obeyed the rules. When the police came, they asked us to not close the restaurant, but send everybody home. We did at 9:30. It was not even 10. So we sent everybody home, and that's the end of the story. And I apologize and inconvenience for what we caused with the neighbor next door. But I mean, nothing major happens, and the police maybe can tell us about it. But that's the only thing I know.
Thank you very much, sir. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
Well, I just think that just being a good neighbor, you should have someone out around the property. People shouldn't be disturbed, whether it's 10 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock at night. I don't find any excuse for that. I do know people that were bothered by the noise, and I suppose they're probably the ones that called. But that really is up to you to keep an eye on your property. I mean, if it was that loud that neighbors could hear it, you had to have heard what was going on out there.
Yes.
So I would, in the future, hope that you would go out and break it up sooner than they're going to be able to call the police.
Yes, I'll try not to happen one more time. We'll make sure, because we aren't expecting that many people. It was supposed to be like 100, and I know it was more than 100 people show up, but
What venue did you have that night?
what we have for me? Like, we have entertainment, like music, and we have a food service there
We did like a couple of tables with food, and they were sitting at the bar. People were outside, but nothing besides that. Like the normal, regular stuff that you've been there, and that we have the entertainment, and we never had past issues, nothing.
Right. I
It's the
thought,
first time.
am I correct in saying that you had motorcycle club there?
No, it was just that night that they want to celebrate something, so they called us. Around 100 people are going to show up. We have the occupancy for 220, so we say yes, but I guess a few more show up than that. It was more the noise of the motorcycles because, Harley Davidsons, when they start the engine or they come, they go. I mean, I understand it's a little noisy. But it was 9:30 anyway.
But I think
still,
that-
I do apologize. But it won't happen again, like I won't.
I think that was the problem. They were just ripping up their motorcycles out in the back lot there.
That's
So
what-
I'm surprised you didn't hear something like that, but I would hope that you would keep a closer eye.
Yes, I will.
When you have groups leaving that, a large group like that, you should make sure they clear out of the parking lot.
Okay, I will.
I have nothing else to say.
Thank you very much. Commissioner LaCroix?
The only thing
Yes, sir.
that I picked up, there was 4 calls logged that night between 9 and midnight, but you said you cleared everyone out at
By
9:30.
9:30, 10 or closer, so that's why I don't understand
So-
what the neighbors said about midnight, because the police chief or the state police, by 10 o'clock, everybody was out of there.
Really? Okay. All right. I mean, it's a one-time event, I guess, so you
Yeah, I
gotta kinda.
apologize, yeah.
You gotta sort of have to kind of keep control of that stuff, as Commissioner Ganasso had mentioned. That's it. Nothing else to say.
Thank you very much. I've spoken to a couple of the state police troopers down there and spoken to some of the other people in the city, and they seem to think you guys run a very good establishment over there. I understand these things are going to happen. However, we would ask that you maintain a tighter control over your parking lot. I mean, your responsibility doesn't end when people walk out the door. Okay, you've got to make sure that they leave the area in an orderly fashion as well. So I would ask that you pay particular attention to that. And that being the case, I think that I would make a motion that we file this motion. Yes, okay. So I'm going to suspend this section of the hearing, and I'm going to ask for anybody who'd like to speak on behalf or oppose this hearing or speak to the issue.
Good afternoon. John Powers, 46 Neponset Street, Revere. I represent the area as the Ward 5 councilor. I'm not speaking as opposed to the restaurant itself, but I am speaking with a concern for what was allowed to happen down there on that particular night. I think that it should be the responsibility of the manager, who I understand is supposed to be there, to address a situation like that when in fact it does happen, not to let it go on for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. That's number one. And number two, they have an entertainment license down there, I believe, with 3 instrumentals and a vocalist. And there are times when that music does penetrate through the walls and affect people who live in the condominiums down there. And I would hope that at all times in the future that you would address that appropriately and make sure that no one who happens to live in a condominium next door at 500 Revere Beach Boulevard is being affected, because my concern is that, while I support businesses, my first concern is for the people that live in this city and are residents, and I would hope that you would adhere to any of the rules and regulations down there. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, Ira Novoselsky, 53 DeHone Street. I just want to speak on behalf of the owner here. I know him very well. I know many years ago, we used to have some incidences such as this, and I know, as far as I know, they haven't had one in a long time. And this is one occasion that things got out of hand, and I'm sure they will oblige and keep an eye on things when they do have a party like that that's going on. But I know they run a good shop. I visit the place continually, and they're good to work with. So I'm just speaking on their behalf, and know that they'll try and make things better. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Appreciate that. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to say on this on behalf, or?
Just one thing on Lieutenant Randall, just curious on those 4 calls that came in between 9 p.m. and midnight. There's still disturbances?
There were noise complaints.
Just noise complaints?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we had officers respond, the state police had officers respond. Because it was a large group of motorcycles, the state police called for additional aid from surrounding cities and towns, just because of the crowd of people that was there. It didn't turn into anything. There were no fights. There were no disturbances. They all eventually peacefully left.
Actually, it does say there was a fight, so I'm not sure if I'm misreading this stuff.
Yeah, I spoke to to some of the officers who were there on the scene, and there was no fight confirmed at any point.
I just want to make sure that you definitely, whose is that? Is that Arthur? No, I think Arthur's hungry. Okay. Yeah, so I just want to make sure you're really, this is important, because there's a lot of residents down there, as Councilor Powers mentioned, and we got to make sure that noise and, there is good control. If you think there's going to be a big group coming in, because you kind of know your clients, maybe you get a detail for that night, whatever you think, but just make sure you're going to be on watch. Okay, thanks.
Well, I think at this point, I think we can make a motion here, but I too am concerned about the music that you have there. I will say I do have a condo next door. You can hear that music. As Council Powers stated, it's unfortunate. I think at one time, many years ago, you weren't there at the time, but the band was always supposed to be in the back, not in the front. They've moved it to the front with the glass sliding windows open. And I think that's where your problem's coming in. It doesn't seem as loud when you're in the building as it does when you're outside. It really does bounce from the water, if you can believe that. So it's a lot louder outside, and I think the residents are concerned about that. So I don't know when that changed, that it was allowed to be brought back up. And we allowed the change to bring up front. Okay, I don't remember that. But I would be very concerned about the music. The windows should be closed after a certain time, a reasonable time, so that music wouldn't carry out to the streets. And then I would be very careful, the venues that you have, that's where the problems come in. So if my commission is, I would place it on file, unless someone else has a...
Yeah, I'll second that recommendation.
Okay. That's what we'll do. We will file this for now. All right. And if we have any other complaints, we're going to bring you back, and we'll go through this again, and we'll probably take some more severe action. But like I say, people who have spoken on your behalf, you know what the issues are. Hopefully you'll address them, and we can move on peacefully from here. Thank you very much. Item number 8, Primo's Partners, LLC, DBA Fajita Sports Bar and Restaurant, 46 Revere Street. Nicholas Portello is the manager. This is a hearing into multiple complaints of neighborhood disturbances caused by patrons of the establishment. Your name and address for the record, please, sir.
My name is Jose. I own the Fajita Sport Bar. Yeah, my name is Jose. I own the Fajita Sport Bar, and I'm here for a complaint.
Very good. Now, you're aware that some neighbors have come to you about complaints, right?
No, nobody.
No neighbors have come to you about complaints?
I've been there for over 3 years, and I never received complaint to nobody, no fight, no police show up. I have a problem only with, is it one girl, across the street. Sorry to say that, is like 76 years old girl. When I got into the store, I go introduce myself with her, and I've been nice to her all the time. Excellent. Winter time, I removed the snow for her, but she called my cell phone probably 5 times a day. Cars parking next to her house. They cannot park up front to her house. She always complained about my store. I go to find out there's nobody at my store. So I went to her and I said, Miss, it's nobody at my store. And she said, yeah, but nobody can park right to my front to my house. I said, ma'am, it's not me. She complained about my store always. It's only one girl, that's it. And that happened because I'm getting tired with it. And I said, I don't listen to her anymore. And she told me she got a complaint to the license department. And last time she told me to put a sign in the window, parking at rail. Because I have a parking in my private parking, where all my customer parking. There's nobody parking on the street from my store, but she always complained to my store. She never stopped. Actually, I got a message from her, voice message, when she said a lot of things about me. Last message she said she got to come to complain to the city hall. I said, well, do whatever you can, because I'm getting tired. I've been helping her a lot. And my store, the Northern Pride security guard, this is my security. I find a company to put a security because I want to do things right. I don't want to get in no trouble with the city. I want to be a nice guy. He's a security Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. He can tell you. He's no whatever the people say. Nobody complain my store. But she said she got a call directly. There's nothing I can do with it.
Okay, thank you very much. I've been in your store. Seems like a nice place.
She live across the street and half a block from my store. She even close to my store. I feel bad because she can explain to you.
All right, sir, thank you.
Well, she's about three houses from you. I know the woman well, and she's about 3 houses from you. She can hear what's going on. I've gone by there, and I've seen people outside. So, unfortunately, it's a public street. People can park there. But I understand, I guess her problem is when they leave there, they're getting in their car. She hears the cars. It's unfortunate. It's in a very small area there, right in the heart of residential. So it does make it hard to run a business there. But, being considerate to the neighbors, you haven't had to pick up any bottles outside, or you haven't seen anything at all outside?
No bottles are allowed outside.
And no, they're not. Absolutely, they're not.
They don't go past me.
But you don't see any outside, because, I was told, I got a couple of calls myself, that they did find bottles outside, beer bottles.
Well, there is a liquor store on the corner.
No, these were beer bottles, that would come from a restaurant. I've gotten calls. I'm not far from that area either. I live pretty close to that area. So,
and he owned a little store right next to my too, and he came and her tied the same thing. That person right there with me.
yeah, but you're saying it's only this one woman that lives across the street. You haven't had complaints from anybody else in the neighborhood? They haven't said anything at all?
Only her, nobody else. She don't leave me alone. She don't leave me alone. I got the voice message she left me. You can hear it if you want it. I have it here.
No, sir, I do know her, so I'm sure you've heard from her.
She's tough. She's tough.
So, yeah, she's tough. But, I've heard from other neighbors that there was just debris outside, and leaving is a little loud. So, I always ask, just be considerate of the neighbors that live there. If it is going on, you know, please have them leave in a
But she will keep calling, trust me.
orderly.
Because she told me to put a sign, and I don't put a sign. I got the voice message Sunday. She
What
said-
sign does she want you to put
She
up?
want to put a sign in the window to say parking real. But all my customers, they know where they park. I have a plenty of parking space. How they gotta park in the street? I have too many parking spaces. at
What's the
store.
capacity in your restaurant?
What?
What is the capacity in your restaurant? How
It's,
many?
it's for 29 people. But it's never 29, it's like, nothing. It's
Right.
probably like 15, 17 people saying.
Well, I just ask, I mean, I have no questions, I mean.
In a week, probably
I ask
5
that you
people,
just be
6 people.
considerate of the neighbors, you know, whatever you can do.
I know, I told you, I tried my best. There's no more complaints, only her. She never gotta leave me alone, I know. I know. I know her for 3 years, over 3 years now. I've been nice to her for the last 3 years past, but I got tired. I do whatever she wants. I have to knock the doors to the people. So, are you parking right in front of her house? They said no. I said, man, what else you want me doing for you? I got tired, be honest with you. I'm done with her. That's why she complained right now. I got a voice message, she said, now you don't want to do what I want to, you do it, and go to the city hall, I said. The mayor office is right next to my store.
I have no other questions.
Thank you very much. Lieutenant Randall, the directed patrols have not seen anything untoward over there?
No, I had directed patrols down there specifically on weekend nights. They haven't noticed anything to complain about, and I ran the log for the last year. We haven't had a single complaint.
Thank you very much. Well, sir, I mean, all I can tell you is that when we get complaints from people, we have to act on them.
I know, I understand.
It's in your best interest to talk to that lady and work out some kind of a solution with her.
I'm gonna try again. I probably put aside what she wanted. I have to do it.
We'll put this on, I mean, I'm gonna make a motion to put this on file. But, you know, that's not gonna stop the situation unless you can do something to address it with the lady.
I have to go back with her. That's the only way I can do whatever she wants me to do.
Well, I think, in
But
all
she's
fairness,
I'm
if
sorry.
somebody makes a complaint, they should have to come to the meeting. I would like to have them come to the meeting.
That's what I'm saying.
And see if you can work it out, because with all the calls we get, if we had everyone come in on calls, we'd probably have to have 6 meetings a month. So I think in the future, and as I say, I do know who she is. She's a very nice person.
She's very nice,
And-
but sometimes I don't know.
Right. But
And by the way, she left me a message. She said somebody break she got a big light bulbs inside. And she called me 8 a.m. in the morning. I would get out from my house and run in to see if that's true. And that bulb light stay over there. And after that, I went back home. I called her. I said, ma'am, what can I do for you? She said, oh, no, somebody break my light bulb, blah, blah. And finally, I got ones in the basement, but that's a big light bulb. How she got to put in the middle? That's not true. Yeah. That's true. But I gotta try to be nice with her again. That's all what I can do. Try my best.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Sir,
No,
you have
thank you.
something to add to this?
Yeah, if I may.
Your name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, my name is Walter Ramirez. I reside at the business next door at 50 Revere Street. It's right next to him. And I've been there since January of this year. I have been in operation since April of this year. And I can tell you that there's never any noise, never any complaints, at least from my end, that there's any loud disturbances. I'm there to the same hours that he's open till 12. And there's, again, no noise from my side. And so I find it hard to believe that noise can travel from where that neighbor is occupying her residence. And I know her very well too. She's a nice lady, but she's also known to exaggerate her claims. Like, for example, she would, there's a balloon that flew up that had nothing to do with my store, but she said that it went all the way up to her roof and that she had to pay X amount of dollars to hire people to remove that balloon. And that was just, but she's a nice lady, and I've talked to her on several occasions, but it's just, her claims do tend to exaggerate. And I can attest that there's never been, ever since I've been in operation since April, there's never been any noise complaints whatsoever. And that's all I have to say.
The only suggestion I give the owner is if she does approach you with a complaint, I would log it, date it, time, and just track it. In the event you come back up here, if you can question stuff. So, because I understand she's elderly, she's probably a certain level of patience. People are different, and so you just gotta kind of manage that type of situation. So, but that's what I would just log it every time, and if it comes back up, then we'll address it. I think we'll just put it on file for now, as you suggest.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Anybody else have anything to add?
Yes, I represent the area there where this woman lives, and I can understand, at one time across the street, there was a cobbler shop there, and, it was a very quiet, there was a drugstore, it was a quiet area. That's changed. And I would hope that because she is an elderly woman, that the people that are operating that restaurant would take that into consideration. And if there is any type of a problem out there with people talking loud when they're leaving the place late in the evening, just show her that respect and try to make it accommodating for all parties concerned. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Counselor. It's sage advice. So that concludes this particular section of the hearing. I think that I would make a motion to file this. Anybody want to second that?
Well, just a suggestion, I understand where they're coming from, and I certainly understand Linda's side on this, but I think that to place this on file, I would probably dismiss it at this point where they could not have anyone else up here to answer questions, and I would hate to put on their record, but going forward, I would love to have her come up and explain to us exactly what's going on, and I'd be more than glad to help her. But at this point, I think I would make a motion to dismiss.
Very good. Is there a second on the motion to dismiss?
Yeah, given she's not here, I have to, now that if they can get through, I would have to second that and dismiss it.
Very good. This matter is dismissed. Going forward, sir, as we suggested.
Thank you very much.
Make the peace as best you
Thank
can.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
She's got huge roof on her house.
The next item on the agenda, item number 9, Emerald Business Enterprises, Inc., DBA Roadway Inn, 309 American Legion Highway. Elena Vega is the manager. This is a hearing into possible violations stemming from an unlicensed park and fly operation.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Attorney Lawrence Simeoni, Law Office at 300 Broadway, Revere, Massachusetts. And this evening, I represent the licensee Emerald Business Enterprises, Inc., and here to discuss possible violations that were cited.
Very good, Counselor. Well, we'll start off with the advertising on the internet of park and fly businesses for which the business is not licensed.
My understanding is, and just to give the commission a background, my client purchased this property back in 2018, and 309 American Legion Highway was a really deplorable hotel. My client purchased it, and there was 8 parking spaces. Shortly thereafter, back in 1999, he acquired an additional 18 spaces. That would have gave him about 28 spaces altogether, which barely met the requirement for a hotel. He's also added another 14 spaces in 2011. He purchased a property that's across the street, not on the same property. Special permit was allowed by the city council for that. And he also recently got a special permit from his honorable members of the city council this year for 14 spaces across the street. So he's invested about $750,000 to $1 million in acquiring property to create some parking to alleviate concerns down there from the neighbors. He has a history of being a very good operator and an even better neighbor. Now, I understand that there may have been complaints. We haven't received any from the neighbors. I would just like the opportunity to investigate that matter as far as what services we're providing, if there's anything involving parking, whatever. Get back to this commission, and if we need a license, we'll apply for it.
Very good, Counselor. I appreciate that. Any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
No, I don't. What was the most recent purchase of that property?
The most, I mean, of the original hotel, or the recent purchase for that property? It was in February of this year. We purchased some land, lots 20 and 22 on Tuttle Street. We haven't developed the parking yet. But other than that, it was back in 2011. We purchased parcels 10, 9, and we created 14 spaces. I think this is a non-conforming use. It's on residential land. It's been a motel. It was a motel before it became a hotel. So it's an older property which runs an economic brand that has to compete with these mid-range brands. So again, it's a non-conforming property with a non-conforming use in a residential district from a property that's, has to compete. And we've been successful. As I said, people who don't like you sell you their property. These are neighbors who understand the condition and were kind enough to allow us to purchase property so we can be a better neighbor, and I think he's got that history. The issue that's raised is novel to me, at least in this particular venue. So I would like to have the opportunity to do an investigation. If the commission's correct, the license for, I believe it's a parking lot license is required and can be attained, then we'll get one.
So you're asking for continuance? Is that what you're asking for?
I'm asking
here?
for whatever the license commission is willing to give me at this time. This is a hearing on a possible violation. If you'd like, if you want to continue the matter, and these, month and a half or so to give me some time. If during the process I determine that we need a license, we're going to have to do some additional work to apply for that license, and probably will apply for that license within that time frame. It won't be like we're coming back here in 6 weeks to say, by the way, we've decided we need a license, and then ask for a license. We'll be making a determination as to whether the commission is correct, and then applying for the license.
Counsel, what would you be doing in the meantime, should this be continued?
I'd probably be doing some, I have to go talk to the,
I'm talking as far as the parking, the spaces with the parking.
Well,
I know it very well, again, I'm from that area.
Yep.
And it was deplorable before this company took it over.
Right.
And I have very dear friends who live on Tattle Street, and I haven't gotten one complaint.
Right.
Okay, they seem to be working with them. Obviously, there has to be one that complained. I don't know who it is. But in the meantime, while you want to conduct an investigation, I'd like to know how many spots you're really coming up with. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for this, what will they be doing with these cars?
The majority of the cars that I understand meet within, currently I think we have, it would be, we have like 38, a little over 40 cars are parked for hotel use. But if in fact they're reserving parking and doing that type of thing, then, and a license is required, then then we would need to file a parking license. I think a plan would need to be drawn to show the commission what we're doing. That's going to take time. I got to hire surveyors. I also need to consult with the zoning people here in the city of Revere. There's multiple definitions for what this ends up being, multiple uses that are not allowed to have this. And so a little investigation with the planning department and the site plan review committee needs to be done.
Okay. I have no other questions.
So, Counselor, what do you need, about 6 weeks? So would you be ready for our November meeting?
I believe I will be.
So until then, because I actually drove by there yesterday and just to check out the area. In fact, I couldn't even pull in. There was a big SUV parked in that last spot. I think it's spot 18. I'm coming off the highway. It had kind of a three-point turn to get in there. So that was kind of a little disturbing just to experience that.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, and then a lot of the plates were out-of-state plates, a lot of Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, which tells me probably they are park and fly as we speak. Again, I don't know how many people come and stay in out-of-state or staying there to vacation in Revere. I'm not too sure that's happening over there. So,
Not to say that I'm an expert in the hotel industry by far,
Yeah.
at all. I would think that people who we cater to are mostly business people, business clientele. And we're not getting the tourists that want to come visit Boston at our hotel.
Correct.
So if
but-
you're seeing Connecticut plates and New York plates, I would say that's consistent with the local businessmen in the region.
Taking a rental, flying in, getting a rental car and staying there or something, I guess.
Or vice versa, driving.
Yeah, so until we sort everything out, is that, my guess he's going to continue to operate. If he has some park and fly spots, he'll continue that without a license.
Yeah, I'm not so sure what he's doing. So, I mean,
Okay, we don't know.
Gotcha. I mean, other than he's operating and he's using the spaces for his hotel accommodations and so forth.
So as far as you know, there's no knowledge on your end that he's doing a park and fly service at this point?
If he's providing reserved parking, the commission has told me that, through the chairman, that there's something on the internet. I'm not doubting the commissioner.
Gotcha.
I'm just saying that, I need some time.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilors. Anybody else have anything to say in this matter?
Well, I think if we're going to do a continuance, we'll close it.
All right, Deputy Chief, Fire Prevention again. Night in question, we've received a couple of phone calls from the neighborhood about cars associated with the hotel parked in the street, taking street parking. A couple times we've gone by the property, we've had other complaints on the American Legion side where there was cars parked and people couldn't walk by because he had double cars out to the barriers. So, night in question on August 24th, I went by around 9:30 at night to see what the capacity was. I went inside and spoke to them, and they had a 78% occupancy. They have 34 rooms, so that basically puts 27 rooms occupied. Doing a car count based on what was in the street, what was in their lot, and what was in the lot across the street, we had 62 cars. So if you take 27 plus 3 for employees, that leaves 32 cars unaccounted for at the property. So considering the website ad and the license plates and the fact that many of these cars were blocked in by secondary and third cars, they appear to be park and fly cars to me. Now that said, I have no issue if you're telling me the neighbors, they work great with the neighbors. I will speak on behalf of the business. They, in just a few years that I've been in this office, done a great job of cleaning up the property and making it a nice hotel. I've been in there for inspections, and you can see how it's progressed over the last couple of years and becoming a better business. So I have no problem giving him the month to get this straightened out, but I think he needs to reduce the number of cars associated with what he's doing at the business right now. When he double parks the cars in the lot, as you spoke to, it makes it difficult to come in there, make that bend. If we have to respond to this property and we have to come off the highway, we're not going to be able to get in the parking lot, so we're going to end up blocking up the highway. On the backside is, had to speak to them a number of times where they've had vehicles in front of the fire connections. The night in question, he didn't have one there, but there was one on the sidewalk side, which would have made it difficult to access the fire connections. So again, I have no issue with giving them the month to try to figure this out. I know they're also in the process of getting licensing for the other lot. I think it'll, as long as the neighbors have no issue with it, I will not object to him obtaining the license. I think he needs to do some work because the way I understand it, this type of operation also requires a 148 license, which will have to be signed off from my department. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy. Appreciate that. All right, well, does anybody else have anything to add?
Just, Deputy Chief makes a good point, Larry, you mind? So it sounds like we're going to be, continuing this until things get squared away. But I think in the interim, about getting in and out of there, those parking spots 17, 18, maybe you can suggest him, keeping those open so you can pull in pretty easily. Because again, I had to make a 3-point turn. If you get a fire truck in there, and there'll be people in the hotel. That could be a serious
I
situation.
take it these are spots that are near the hotel itself, not across the street.
Correct, they're inside, inside the lot, correct. And I don't know if they're parking fly or the hotel, but you just can't get in there off the highway.
Well, I will bring that to my client's attention, along with the fact that the deputy chief said they're parking in front of fire connections, which is not a good thing to do, and people do it. We just have to be on top of them, tell them to move.
Sure. So that's my suggestion.
Thank you, Councilor. Well, you've heard from the Deputy Chief. You see what has to be done. We'll continue this. At least we'll make a motion to continue this until our November meeting, at which point we hopefully have this stuff addressed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'm going to make a motion to continue this to our November meeting.
I'm going to second that motion.
The motion is approved. We'll see you in November. Item number 10. This is Netra Inc., DBA Dairy Mart, 160 Squire Road. Vimubin Gashayam Patal is the manager. This is a hearing into violations of the conditions of your license. Your name and address for the record, please, sir.
My name is Shalin Patel, and I'm one of the owner for the Dairy Mart Liquor Store, which is located at 160 Squire Road, and he's my business partner. His name is Sunny Patel.
Very good, thank you. Now, you remember when you got that license, right?
Yes, we are very well aware of that.
And our conversation at that time was that in order to maintain seating in that store, you would have to make it a convenience store because that's where seating is allowed.
Yes.
And in order to qualify as a convenience store, 60% of your floor space had to be dedicated to convenience store items and not the sale of alcohol. I've been in your store several times. You're not close to that.
Yes, so I would like to say in my defense, when we got the store on August 13, and it took us 10 days to set up the account with the vendors. Around August 23rd, we got the account set up, and then I think I assume that this letter was sent out on September 4th. So I would assume you stopped by before that. And after that, we made a lot of changes. We have like 10 aisles right now. Out of 10 aisles, we have 6 aisles covered with the groceries, which is a lot in compared to the old owners. And we are still making changes.
Okay. I was in there 2 days ago. I saw the middle aisle empty and some candy where some alcohol used to be. And I saw 20 refrigerated doors, right? All 20 of them.
Yes.
Alcohol, right? Or maybe 2, not?
One side is
In the corner, you have a couple that aren't?
and like 6 or 7 door coolers is for the soda, milk, juice.
So we have two big coolers. One side you're talking about, those are covered with the beer, and there is another side coolers, which is I think 7 or 8 doors, which is covered with the groceries, milk, sodas, and all the other stuffs.
And then in the section where the seating is, you've got stacks of cases of beer piled up.
Yeah, we will remove that. And like how you said, there was an empty aisle. We already ordered the grocery for that, so we are just waiting for that.
Okay, well, so the issue would be that you had a couple months to do that, you know? So, I mean, we're gonna have to either remove the seating or get that thing squared away. Do any of my fellow commissioners have anything else they want to add?
Well, along with the seating, your lottery has to go. I think this board's been very patient with this business. I know you haven't had it long, but the people before you. And when you were here, you had your attorney here. She wrote down exactly what this board said you were to do, and you agreed to it, and you've reneged on everything. Yes. You have lottery in there, you have booths, tables, chairs, and all alcohol. Your signage was supposed to be 60% convenience store items. You have 100% alcohol advertising, every window there. When this license first came up, it was a convenience store. We allowed it with those stipulations. I'm going to stick to them. I don't know how my board feels, but we've worked very, very hard with this business, and it's unfair to the neighbors that you have a full parking lot 24/7 that is in there playing Keno. The ABC forbids it in a package store. You have a package store. I don't think I could get a loaf of bread in there. Okay? I've been in there. It's all it is gaming, alcohol, and Keno. And I've been saying this for 2 years, and I was on the board when this was passed. Okay? And every single one that comes up and buys it says the same thing they know when they're going to change. I, for one, am not tolerating it anymore. I've heard enough from the neighbors. They're 100% right. And you're still letting the front parking lot go too. Nobody's out there picking up scratch tickets, cigarettes. They're out there smoking all day. I go by there a couple of times a day, and all they do is they're sitting there smoking, or they're sitting in the car watching Keno, okay, and doing scratch tickets. I think I've said enough for the last 2 years about this establishment, not listening. They are a convenience store. I would be one to revoke the package store license. Then you would have to go convenient.
It's hard to cut down the inventory first.
Sir, it can't be hard anymore, sir. I'm done with telling you what you should do. We shouldn't be babysitting your license. You know what you're supposed to do. You refuse to do it. I don't want any more calls from that area, even to walk in there. They're outside with the scratch tickets, smoking, and there's plenty of empty nips around. And that's one thing that, if I could, I would eliminate nips altogether, because I don't think they're good in any establishment, not just yours. But I think I've heard enough stories. I don't think there's anything else you can tell me. You have 100% alcohol advertising. You've got 80% alcohol. You're running Keno in there, scratch tickets. They're sitting there having coffee in booths with tables and chairs. How much more can I say to the neighbors? Well, they're going to try. I am not going to try anymore. I would have no problem revoking your package store license.
Do you have anything to add, Commissioner?
Well, I'd like to hear from the new owners here on, Commissioner Ganasso actually read you the Riot Act here, and I'd be curious to hear, this is kind of your first time in front of us, this direct. I'd be curious to hear. No, for the transfer, I understand, but this is...
No, they were here with their attorney.
Correct.
The attorney wrote the notes down. They read them and agreed to them.
Correct.
So
No.
I don't know what else we can say to this establishment. It's one after another, and they all give us the same story. Excuse me for interrupting
Oh,
you.
no problem. So I'd be curious, I still want to curious to see what your feedback based on everything Commissioner Ganasso just stated. Be curious to hear what, depending on the way the vote goes here, I'd like, if you were given one more opportunity, how are things going to be different?
Every day we try to cut down the liquor inventory and put more grocery and all stuff. Before the owner, they don't carry they just carry like 10%. Now we have more than 60 or 70% of the grocery. And every day we're making more and more. We're gonna, on the next month, we order already cooler for the frozen, so we can start the frozen food and all the stuff. We don't have a frozen cooler right now, so we already order, and it's everything it take time to come.
Almost any warehouse would fill your store in one day. They're out to sell.
Sir, no one wants to hurt you, okay? We're not trying to put you out of business. And we understand that you paid real money for the store and you have an investment there. But we have to protect the people of Revere and the neighborhoods, and you have to abide by the conditions of the license. And the conditions clearly were 60% of it has to be groceries, convenience items.
We agree on that.
And 40% of it alcohol. That's the advertising, the sale, everything. You have to be a convenience store if you want to maintain your seating, okay? Not a package store. And the only way you can be a convenience store is to have more items for sale that are non-alcohol, okay? And so in order to do that, you're going to have to make some changes, and you're going to have to make them quick, because you can see that the patience is running out here. Now, I wouldn't have a problem continuing this for 30 days and bringing you back at our next meeting. And giving us a chance to take a look at it and see what you're going to do about it.
More pictures and all more stuff to show you what we change.
I'm sorry? Next time when we come here for the hearings, we'll bring the more pictures of the stores, what we increase.
Well, I'll tell you, you take some pictures and bring them to us. And show us what you've done.
That's what we
all right? And to be honest, probably within the next month and a few days before the meeting, I'm sure myself or some of my colleagues are probably going to drop by and take a look.
Sure.
Because, that's how we roll, all right? So, I mean, I'll make a motion to continue this for 30 days to give you an opportunity to square this away.
Thank you.
I want to be recorded as being opposed. I think my motion would have been to revoke your license, because unfortunately, I'm getting all the calls from your establishment, okay? It's a hangout. It's against the law. If I call the ABCC, they'd be down there and pull your lottery today. It's against the law. Blanchard's cannot have Keno, yet you feel you can, and have a package store. So I'm going to be recorded as being opposed to any extension. I think a year's been plenty of time for those neighbors and the traffic that goes in and out of there because of Keno or smoking or coffee, whatever they're drinking in there. So I want to be recorded as being opposed.
I could understand that, Commissioner, and I respect your opinion. However, with all due respect, these gentlemen, if this is their first time, they've only had the store for less than 2 months.
In all fairness, I had a business myself, and I can tell you one thing. I was on the phone, and I think within 48 hours, I was full. If you called and ordered milk, I can tell you Hoods would be down there in an hour, okay? Bread would be there in an hour, cereal. There was no problem making orders, and I know that.
No, we have a bread, cereals. We starting the Gora stuff, and we try to...
You can start with taking down 60% of your alcohol advertising.
Okay, I will do now.
So I guess, my colleagues are definitely, I respect them both, and I totally agree with them both. But I am going to, side with, Commissioner Celovich in this case, because I think you understand the severity of this. I think It's really, really pretty straightforward, and there's no wiggle room. It's black and white, but I think I'm gonna, revoking license is very severe, and that would probably put you out of business, and I don't want to do that yet. So I'm gonna, second the motion to continue for 30 days, and you will have visitors, I'm sure, so there'll be no wiggle room here. You need to abide by the rules we set forth, so, and I think you understand them. If you don't, get with us and but I pretty much, I think and I'm gonna go with the 30 days continuance and get you back here and make sure everything's back.
Thank you.
Okay, you clear? 30 days? So the motion to continue this for 30 days is approved. Thank you. We'll see you next month, and hopefully we'll have a good result at that point.
Sure. Definitely.
Thank you very much.
Thank
We
you.
want to work with you on this.
Yeah, definitely.
That completes the hearings. The next is a communication, a telephone complaint from a resident concerning advertising signs at the Squire. Does anybody have any comment on that? I don't really know what the concern was, other than,
I think that at one point, if I remember correctly, that there was an agreement made with the city council that they would not have signage on the building other than the name. And I think that would probably go through inspectional services, maybe. Right, that would go through inspectional services. But I'm 100% sure there was something put in place that they would not advertise any type of advertising.
okay. Well, I don't know what else to do with that other than. Okay, great. Thank you very
Place
much.
it on
That's
file.
been referred to inspectional services. That concludes the agenda.
Well,
Oh,
I
I'm
just
sorry.
would-
We have a late communication. And the late communication is from Councilor Keefe. And Councilor Keefe, well, I'll read the communication. I have reason to believe that there is an itinerant junk dealer operating from the above referenced residential address, as there are approximately 5 or 6 modified pickup trucks associated with its address that are parked on Lambert Street, Mountain Avenue, and Seaview Avenue that are constantly filled with junk. And we've gotten some photographs of vehicles filled with junk. By definition, an iterant, thank you, dealer means a person or business entity who buys, sells, collects, or delivers junk within the city as a business, but does not operate a junkyard within the city. In accordance with the provisions of Section 5-16160, itinerant junk dealers of the Revere Revised Ordinance. It is unlawful for any person to act as an itinerant junk dealer in the city without first having obtained a license from the License Commission. In accordance with this section, this person does not have a license. The City Councilor is asking us to enforce the provisions of the Revere Revised Ordinances to the fullest extent that the law allows. Been dealing with this for over a year and wants to get it resolved. I would suggest that we refer this matter to Lieutenant Randall for investigation.
And inspectional services.
Is anybody,
I think we have-
with that?
Are you here for
Yeah,
Safe
I would,
Harbor?
I would second that,
I'm
inspectional services and Lieutenant Randall
Safe
to investigate.
Very good. So we refer that to
Yes, I'll pass
Lieutenant-
that along, and we'll get our guys working with inspectional services on that.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
No, oh,
This is the matter that was tabled earlier. Save the harbor, save the bay. No? Okay, sure. Step up, please. Name and address for the record.
Dimple Rana, Director of Healthy Community Initiatives in 49 South Ave, Revere. The matter regarding the Squire had come up from a resident during a North Revere neighborhood group meeting, which my department helps to facilitate on a monthly basis in North Revere. The resident, we took note of his complaint and also informed him to contact 311 to find out more about the advertising at the Squire. There clearly are banners on the building advertising different activities that they have there during the week. And so on just behalf of the resident and the North Revere neighborhood group, just like to add that it did come through the neighborhood group meeting. There was concern not just from the resident, but from the general residents who were at the meeting and just wanting to have the advertising removed. Thank you.
Very good. We'll refer that to inspectional services as well.
Okay.
Does that meet with everyone's approval?
Yes,
Very good. The next item is an adjournment,
October 16th.
October 16th. I make a motion to adjourn until October 16th.
I'll second the motion.
We're adjourned till October 16th, 2019. Thank you very much.